everybody. Welcome to the second episode of the Primary Politics Podcast. I'm Hunt Wasden alongside John Manos.
Yeah, we got a great show for y'all today, and we're going to start it off with some breaking news.
All right, so really the big story this afternoon is a suspect was arrested in connection with those explosive devices sent to CNN. Kamala Harris received one, Joe Biden, President Obama. This is just one of those stories that just, kind of makes you mad. Like, what is this guy doing? It's just obnoxious that, like, the rhetoric in America has reached to a level where people are doing stuff like this. I mean, in this case, this guy, Cesar Sayoc, who was arrested down in Miami in Broward County, appeared to be a big Trump supporter. It wasn't too long ago that, Steve Scalise and the congressional baseball team were shot up by, a big Bernie supporter. And it's just sad, that it's gotten to this point. And, the president came out today and talked about how, he doesn't condone this and unequivocally. And, Jeff Sessions saying the same thing. And Jeff Sessions, was saying that it's really a sad moment. We're actually going to play a clip from Jeff Sessions' speech now. Here is Jeff Sessions from the DOJ building a few hours ago.
Being here, over the past week, more than a dozen suspicious packages have been sent through the United States Postal Service to a media outlet, a Hollywood actor, and at least 7 high-ranking current and former political leaders in the Democratic Party. This is utterly unacceptable. Political violence or the threat of violence is antithetical to our vigorous system of self-government. It is a threat to that respect for law and process that allows our people to accept legislation, elections, court rulings with which they do not agree. This is the central feature of our system of government. You advocate for your beliefs enthusiastically, but we peaceably and lawfully comply with the results. Please know that from the beginning, this investigation...
Yeah, so that's just a little bit of what Jeff Sessions was saying there during a press briefing at the DOJ. Trump's comments were pretty much a very similar tone. It just sucks,
This kind of stuff, like, I hate when people want to politicize this and say, like, this is what the GOP has come to, or the shooting at the baseball game that you mentioned. This is what the Democratic Party has come to. I mean, it hasn't. That wasn't indicative of the Democratic Party. This wasn't indicative of the Republican Party. It's a basket case.
Yeah.
And the fact that these people feel, it's mental instability. But the fact that they feel that they can make a difference through this it is sad. So something needs to change.
The guy is just an absolute whack job. He's a huge conspiracy theorist. I was going through his Twitter feed. It hasn't been taken down as of us recording this. Hasn't been taken down by the FBI yet. I was going through his Twitter feed, and he's crazy.
I'm sure.
The guy is absolutely
take too much
crazy. Yeah, no, and he kept reiterating this statement of, quote, unconquered Seminole tribe.
What?
Yeah, exactly. It's something everybody on Twitter is blowing up, trying to figure out what it means. No one knows. It's clearly, you look at his tweets, it's extremely muddled. The English is the grammar is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
You can tell this man is very unhinged. It's just terrible that it's come to this, and what you mentioned earlier, this isn't indicative of the Republican Party, just as the shooting of the GOP baseball team isn't indicative of the Democratic Party, and I completely agree with that. These are two whack jobs on either side, and I think almost all of America can agree that this is terrible. It is. Trump is speaking in Charlotte tonight. I'm sure there will be some comments made regarding this. It'll be interesting to see if he, keeps it as it should be, or if he goes off the rails a little bit. He loves to go off the rails at his rallies.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he's going to harp on it too much.
No, I don't think he
it'll be
will.
like a 10,
I don't think he
15
will.
second.
Yeah, I think it's something he's maybe just gonna say, you know, oh, all these good people, y'all aren't like that, and kind of carry on.
Yeah, I really don't think.
Yeah, I'd be very
It's gonna be.
surprised.
It's gonna. I don't want to say it's gonna blow over, but the story shouldn't carry over for too long, just because it's not an epidemic. It's just one guy who got spotlight for doing
Yeah.
something insane.
Yeah, no, I mean, he refers to Trump supporters as our customers. He says customers. It's weird. I mean, you just read the tweet. This is one of his tweets here. We unconquered Seminole tribe, hard rock, millions of our customers, vets, current, say absolutely no to Andrew Gillum, liberal, left, Democrat, George Soros, Cal, Tom Steyer, socialist, high taxes, high crime. Gillum can't handle his own city, Lynn County, Tallahassee, Florida, highest crime rate ever, 4 years. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is not stable. And the man he's talking about there is a Democratic candidate for governor in Florida. But yeah, I mean, you can just tell this isn't a chill guy. You know?
No, that's the thing. So, not that it's not important. It is important, but I think it's definitely one of those freak things. Luckily, no one got hurt. Not to my knowledge.
Well, it's just, you know, thank God, FBI, Capitol Police, NYPD, all the different agencies involved did a phenomenal job here. And the FBI did mention today that this is not over. There are most likely still packages in transit.
Yeah.
So this is an ongoing thing. But crazy, really. I mean, just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, unreal.
All right. What you got for us today, John?
Yeah, so Megyn Kelly, the NBC News headline says Megyn Kelly will not return to today. If you know Megyn Kelly, she was a Fox News something. She had a show on Fox News, The Kelly File.
Yeah, The Kelly File.
She stopped working for Fox News. A lot of staunch Fox listeners, pretty conservative base, didn't find her as conservative as they would like. So she went to NBC, but I guess they didn't find her as liberal as they would like. There's a quote from her that, I'll be honest with you, I don't get the quote, but it's not as horrible as you think. Sorry, let me find it real quick. And so this is Megyn Kelly talking about blackface,
Right.
which is never a good thing.
Right.
She said, "What is racist? Because you get in trouble if you're a white person who puts on blackface for Halloween or a black person who puts on whiteface for Halloween." She said, "When I was a kid, it was okay as long as you were dressing up like a character." I mean, yeah, that's great, but like, what equality are we fighting
This
for?
is her on the Today Show. This is a lot of people are pointing to the reason why she's being excused from NBC. Yeah, defending blackface is kind of a hot take these days. Not many.
I don't think many people are like.
No,
chomping
not many
at the bit
people are
saying,
still
yeah,
on that train.
I've been
yeah.
waiting for it for the past 60 years to come back. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, not many people are still on that train, and so yeah, it's not not a chill stance to have, especially on national TV. She of course had a I mean, towards the end, you're right about her Fox News career, but she had a pretty good career at Fox News. I mean, I think it was 12 years there.
Yeah.
So she was, very popular.
it was weird when she left. I mean, it was kind of a big
I think it
story.
was amid some sexual assault claims as well.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely a multifaceted issue.
But now she may or may not be looking for work.
Right.
The last quotes was she's still thinking about her future at NBC.
Right, yeah. Her lawyer made a statement earlier today that she is still employed by NBC and is in talks with them about her future there. So that indicates she will be staying with NBC. For how long, we don't know.
Next up, we got some bad blood between us and one of our neighbors. Newsweek.
Same neighborhood.
Same neighborhood. Not,
neighbors,
not,
yeah,
not adjacent, but close. Newsweek, listen to this headline. Venezuela prepares for war with U.S. with rifles, missiles, and well-oiled tanks at the ready. I mean, I gotta give them to them. Their tanks are well-oiled.
Yeah.
And ours are pretty rusty, that's what I've heard.
I saw today that the U.S. successfully shot down their second test intercontinental ballistic missile from space. So, if I was Venezuela, I would probably put those words back in my mouth pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least they're giving us practice.
Right, right. It's like when like on Thursdays when the JV team has to scrimmage the
Yeah,
varsity.
the scout team.
That's what this would be like.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, this is like Georgia versus God help us Wake Forest.
Yeah, please God.
For sure.
Don't even. But it's funny. Obviously, obviously, like, don't go to war. Please don't declare war on us for your own.
Yeah, just not a good call.
But we're it's good to know that Venezuela, per their military, they have rifles. Their military has rifles. Their
Thank
military,
God.
they have missiles, and they have tanks that are also well oiled.
Yeah, there you go. Well oiled.
Yeah,
Gotta
so-
love it. Well, they do have a lot of oil in Venezuela.
I was about to say, I'm sure they're maybe a little over oiled. So that's our latest conflict.
Yeah, I mean, just God, never. And Trump is just 100% might stoop to that level too.
Yeah,
Like,
Trump would be
if,
all right.
if they come at us, like it's yeah. And speaking of troops in South America, it was confirmed today by Lucas Tomlinson, who's a Pentagon correspondent for Fox News and a former graduate of Episcopal High School, where I attended. He tweeted today that Manos has signed an order that'll put a couple hundred extra troops on the border as this migrant caravan approaches.
Yeah.
This is a pretty sketchy situation, mainly because troops is a pretty broad term. The DoD is saying these troops are National Guardsmen, mainly doctors, engineers, people there for logistical support. There's already a large number of National Guardsmen that have already been placed on the border that are there to assist Homeland. But, we'll see.
The thing is, like, this caravan, I mean, we're getting mad. A lot of people are getting mad that there might be military presence down there, but I think military presence is necessary. This headline of The Guardian says, migrant caravan members unfazed by Trump. Quote, unquote, he'll change his thinking. So the issue is that they're going to try and force their way in. I think that this deployment of troops down there might be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that has obviously been talked about a lot. I don't know if you remember Rick Perry, when he was the governor of Texas, he threatened putting National Guard on the border all the time. And I think it's something that, it's I don't know, it's a little bit, it's a little bit unsettling, but, when there's that many people headed towards the border and if Kristen Nielsen wants Homeland to take a stand and, Trump's obviously going to support her in that.
I support it.
Yeah. We have something coming in right now. Sorry, we're going to switch to it. This is a little bit off topic, but this is Trump speaking moments ago about the bombing.
Been unbelievable. Well, I think I've been toned down. You want to know the truth? I could really tone it up because, as you know, the media has been extremely unfair to me and to the Republican Party. I think the media has been very, very unfair in terms of the Republican Party and the way it's been covered. And they understand that. They write articles about that. Many of them admit that. But the media has been unbelievably unfair to Republicans, conservatives, and certainly to me. But with all of that being said, we're winning. So I like that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So that's President Trump getting on Marine One there, headed towards Andrews, where he will come down to Charlotte to speak in just a few hours. You heard a reporter yell, "Would you yourself pledge to tone down the rhetoric for the next few days?" The president responding, "I think I've toned down." I think I heard Jim Acosta yelling, "How?"
Was that him?
I think
I don't know if y'all could hear it over the audio, but he was saying how. He said
someone
how
was
400.
yelling, right. The
How
president
is
said,
they-
"Well, the media's treating us unfairly," and you heard. I'm pretty sure it was Jim Acosta. That's something he would do.
I mean, come on, like how? It's like
Jim Acosta also said headlines earlier this week. He tweeted a tweet out complaining about how at a Trump rally the volume was turned up too loud and that the reporters couldn't do the reporting, and he felt that it was an attack on the press and that it was probably a safety concern and the Secret Service should get involved. And someone quoted the tweet and said, "Dear Diary, ... And he DM'd him. He DM'd the
That's
guy.
funny.
Like, Jim Acosta DM'd the guy and said, "F you."
Really?
Yes, just
That
straight up
happened?
DM, like never met.
This
DM'd
guy's
him, "F you."
unstable. I mean, this guy.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
come
he's angry. He's angry, and he's not afraid to show it. I mean, he's been extremely confrontational with Sarah Sanders. He's walked out of the, press briefing room at least once that I know of. I mean, do you remember when he was after the newspaper shooting? There was the newspaper shooting, and President Trump was giving a speech, and Jim Acosta yelled. I mean, this is the end of the speech. Everybody's applauding, and this is not this is a no question speech. It was
an address.
not right. There was no questions at the end. He was addressing the people. It was in the White House. It wasn't in the briefing room. It was in one of the reception halls. Tons of people there, tons of special guests. And Jim Acosta from the back of the room yells, "Mr. President, Mr. President, do you still think the press is the enemy of the people?" He has a right to be mad. He has a right to be mad. He's in the press. Trump hates the press. There's beef, obviously. But time and a place. I saw something where a reporter on a plane tried to confront Donald Trump Jr. No, excuse me, it was Jared Kushner was on a plane, and a reporter stood up and tried to ask him a bunch of questions, and the Secret Service said, "Hey, man, come on, just stop." And he goes, "What? I'm a White House press pool reporter," and he pulled out his creds, and they're like, "Dude, there's a time and a place."
Yeah, I mean, he has a job, and the thing is, like, he has a right to do that.
Right.
But he looks like an idiot when he does it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's nothing illegal. I don't think he's doing anything illegal. But
No,
he
he's
makes
not.
himself look worse.
And I'm not saying it's illegal or he should be punished, but it's just kind of like, dude, he's traveling with his kids,
Give him
just.
a break. Well,
Yeah.
that's what they want. They want to get them when they're vulnerable. They want them to say something stupid. They want that.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
I hope that really comes over because you could hear it in the background vaguely, him yelling,
Yeah. How? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So-
He needs to grow up a little bit.
Next up, we have our totally unbiased college football news.
100% unbiased.
Completely unbiased. We are
We look
nominated.
at all conferences equally.
Yeah, every conference, especially the whatever the one that UCF's in.
Right.
And we
Right.
we decided.
Because they're the real national
Yeah,
champions.
well,
right?
they claimed it. They're the one of two. And this week we have Georgia, Florida. Georgia travels to Jacksonville. Florida travels to Jacksonville. And I gotta tell you, this one's gonna be good. Florida beat LSU, and Georgia lost to LSU, which is why I think Georgia has the advantage in this game.
Oh, I do too. I mean, this is just classic SEC cannibalism. We saw it with Auburn last year. We beat each other. Then we beat people that got beat by people that beat. I mean, it's always a mix. And I will say, I mean, obviously this weekend is the #1 college football game in the history of college football.
Ever.
Harvard, Yale, not even a chance.
No.
Who gives a shit? I mean, Georgia, Florida, we're in Jacksonville.
Red River.
People are throwing full beers at the buses as
Frat
they come
Beach.
in.
Biggest
Frat
cocktail
Beach.
party in the
Yeah,
world.
biggest cocktail party in the world. I mean, just police having an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
It is literally, there's no better thing than when you see the divide in the stadium.
Oh, red on one side,
half
blue
blue,
on the other.
one half red, and then there's those few just unfortunate people that bought the wrong tickets
'Cause they're
offline.
cheaper, yeah.
Right. And so there's like 5 Georgia fans in the Florida section, and they're just done all night. They just get heckled.
Well, the best is when you're on the border.
Yeah.
So you got all your boys behind you to the left on my unbiased, unnamed team side.
Right,
And then
of
all
course. Good off.
the enemies, yeah, good off, on the right side, and then you just heckle each other, but you're heckling with people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh, it's
the
a
best
group
part.
effort. It's
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
collaborative. No, and the
Yeah.
worst part about it is, down the middle aisle, there's like probably 30 cops down the aisle.
Oh, yeah,
I
they
mean,
don't
they're
let you.
every single row.
It doesn't stagger. It's
No.
literally red, blue, all the
yeah,
way across.
red, officers, blue,
Yeah,
blue, 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 blue.
and then,
It is
yeah,
crazy.
In orange and some green. Last year wasn't even a game.
Yeah.
This year it'll be better.
Yeah.
But I mean, all Georgia has to do is say, "Oh, we want to run the ball."
Yeah.
Against LSU, Georgia was like, "Nah, no more running."
Yeah.
So this is gonna be good. I'm
We
excited
also
for
got to
this
put
game.
Justin Fields in more.
Yeah, I agree. Unbiased opinion. Justin Fields needs some more playing time.
He
got
does.
legs.
He does.
He's got.
We're
an
going to
arm.
lose him if we don't keep playing. We're going to lose him.
I think he came in this year expecting not to start, but if we don't play him with the next 2 years, we're probably going to lose him.
Right.
I
And
think
we
Fromm's a
can't because
great
he's
choice.
damn good.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
I think Fromm's a great choice.
And
but
Fromm can sling the ball too, but so can Fields, and Fields adds that running dimension. Ugh.
that's the thing. Fields isn't one-dimensional. Fromm likes to pass but can run. Fields likes to run and likes to pass.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to help. As for Florida, they have like a good D line.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
they're Florida.
Unbiased opinion.
Like, honestly, who cares?
Yeah, we're the most moderate news source.
Yeah,
for
just a
college
lot of jorts. Just a lot of jorts.
Way too many
Yeah,
jorts.
way too many jorts. A lot of
Way
white
too many
beaters,
naked
too.
head coaches hugging sharks.
Yeah,
just
no, just never a good scene. Yeah, and you know, at the end of the day, whatever happens, at least Georgia's never lost to Georgia Southern like Florida did that time. You
Yeah,
remember that? That was
bad.
brutal.
When the Florida players set the midline
They
and
blocked
each
themselves.
other.
Yeah, that will
was bad.
forever go down as my favorite moment as a Georgia football fan. We weren't even playing them, and two Florida players blocked each other. That was a highlight.
Well, the state of Georgia ran the state of Florida that year too. Which
Yeah.
was even better. But this game, I think it's going to be good.
Oh, it will for sure be good.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just bet all the multitudes of our listeners right now. I'm going to give Georgia by 17.
By 17,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I think it starts off chippy back and forth. Maybe Florida takes an early lead. I think Georgia gets out way too fast. Georgia plays one bad game. Jake Fromm has a terrible game. Our offensive coordinator forgets what football is, and everyone thinks that Georgia's never going to win a game.
Right. I'm saying 35-27 Georgia come
Really?
back in the second half. Yeah.
Ooh,
I think it's
okay.
going to be closer.
That's really close.
But I think it's either going to be that or it's going to be a stupid blowout either way.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, it's either going to be you know how Georgia is. We can go out there, we can play and, like, compete,
And
or we
bust
can
somebody.
just go out there and flounder.
Well, I hope we don't flounder. I think Kirby's taking the floundering dimension out. But we're ticked because we're like number 8. Okay, first of all, we're ranked way higher, like, worse than we should be. Michigan and Texas. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no.
I mean, you play
justification.
FCS schools.
Yeah, and Texas. Oh, Texas is winning games. Congratulations. That's what you try to do every time.
Right,
I understand you lost to Maryland.
Like, this
you
isn't
came back.
YMCA. What has
Yeah.
America turned into?
Yeah,
We're giving
it's
out
horrible.
we're giving out participation medals. now.
Power 5. It should be like Power 2.
Yeah.
Like Big Ten,
Yeah.
SEC.
Yeah.
So that's my issue. I think that's the only game on this weekend.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. It's
Only
the only game that matters.
Yeah, only game televised. Make sure to watch that.
Yeah,
please.
for sure. All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed our second show. We just want to give you a heads up. Next show, we're going to be having Congressman Jack Kingston coming on live. This has been a long time coming, a lot of rescheduling, a lot of back and forth. But we're very excited to have him on. For those of you who don't know about Congressman Kingston, he's a 22-year congressman that represented Savannah, Georgia, and Georgia's 1st District. He served, as I mentioned, for 22 years. 11 terms until moving into the private sector a few years ago. He now works as a lobbyist for the global law firm Squire Patton and Boggs. He's a senior Trump campaign advisor and is also a CNN political commentator. If you see Don Lemon in a heated argument, it's most likely him. So we're super excited to have him come on. It's going to be a great episode. We got a ton of questions lined up for him. So just make sure to come back and join us for that episode. That's about it for us today. John, you got anything?
Yeah, make sure to tune in. Just remember, we are the most unbiased podcast on air, especially when it comes to college football.
For sure. Everyone have a safe weekend and go Dogs.
God bless America.
Hell yeah.
I sing for my Georgia. Oh, Georgia. Get it whole way through. This old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Hey, Georgia, oh yeah. Yeah, Georgia. And it's all of you. Comes as sweet and clear. It's moonlight through the pines. Other arms will reach out to me. Other eyes will smile tenderly. Here and now. Still in peaceful dreams I see. Over and over the road. Ooh, it is back to you. Hey, George. keep Georgia on my mind. I feel that other arms reach out to me. Other eyes smile tenderly, still in peaceful dreams. Oh, and I see Missy Road. The road leads back to you. Oh, Georgia, no, that, and I know, no peace I find. Won't you hear me now? It's just this old sweet song. Oh, I said that. Keep Georgia on my mind. Well, on my mind. On my mind. Yeah, it's an old sweet song. Keep Georgia. Oh, girl, on my mind. You know the little girls are the